Hello, hello. I hope we're live.
Yeah, hopefully we are live today, this morning, this evening, whatever it is at your time zone, and we are having conversation about face-to-face versus online education. My name is Darko, and I'm with
Edita.
ah. We love these introductions. I don't know. We should do it as a main feature of the program. So if you like to let us know that we are actually live and it's working, you can just give something in the comments, and we'll be more than happy to see it.
Yeah, we're always happy to know that everything is working, which is, one of the features of online education, online communication, making sure that you're actually there.
Yeah. And regarding this, I'd say it's quite of a problem with online education via video that became apparent with things when they started with Zoom, Teams. I think you're working mostly with Teams, Google Meet, and everything because people started the meetings or the education session with, can you hear me? Can you see me? So this is like the main introduction. Morning all, morning Tihana, Anna, Rina, Dimitar.
Thank you all for greeting us and letting us know that we are live. And it's really nice to see your name, Rina. I see that you're no longer an anonymous LinkedIn user. Yay!
Yeah, great. Did you have the same did you had no? Okay, excuse me. I'm not an English teacher, so I make mistakes. Did you have similar mistakes when you were starting out with your teaching with students and with technical problems like this?
Oh yeah, mistakes, but also, things we can't control, which is even worse, I'd say. Like mistakes, you learn from them, but when technology fails you, it has to be something that we. Oh, Rena is thanking you for the instructions. So that's connected to that, right? We can learn how to be better at instructions when it comes to technology as well. That's something I'm still learning. Sometimes we take little tips and tricks for granted and we don't share them enough to make the experience a bit smoother. But yeah, when technical errors happen and you don't have the control over it, it's something to get used to and have a different kind of mindset when you're teaching online than offline.
Yeah, yeah,
It takes a
I'd
bit of
say yeah
mental
for
prep.
sure. It's quite different. Okay, I might be a bit different because I live in the camera basically, so
Mhm.
it's not that much of a difference for me. I see the difference, but how would you say that working with camera and being on camera when teaching changed the way you teach your students? Besides these, okay, is my camera working? Can everybody see me, hear me?
For me, from my experience, it takes me a bit longer to get people comfortable and to get people to be aware of the all the options that they have to make themselves comfortable because they have the environment under control most of the time. So I take my time to give them some options and to make sure that they're using them best of their power so that they can actually relax and have everything that they need. A glass of water or being comfortable in the clothes that they wear, using the technology that they're comfortable with, and so forth. Takes a bit more time to get people on board online.
Would you say they are a bit more shy than in person?
I would actually say that when it comes to anxiety, I notice that people can be more anxious face to face when we first meet. It depends on how familiar they are with the technology, which I think with time I see an improvement in general. Like since the pandemic, since I switched online, I see that the new students that I get have more and more experience with the online world. So they know what works for them. And a lot of them who are more anxious in person find ways to deal with it online. It might be that they'll turn off the camera in the first 15 minutes until they feel comfortable. It might be that they'll find a time that works for them best when they feel more relaxed or more comfortable. These kinds of things, the small things that they might not have the opportunity to do when things are face to face, when they can't choose the venue, and how they present themselves might be a bit more formal as well. You know, they can wear their pajamas, for instance, online, which can make people feel a bit more comfortable at the start.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with it. Because from what I saw, I don't know if insist that they have their cameras on, but I see people turn their cameras off, and you don't have that kind of interaction, and you don't know what they are doing. And in a way, it's much easier to turn the camera off than leave the room where you're in when you're too bored or don't want to be in this education. So they just can turn it off and do whatever they want. Nobody knows. Um, just as a note for our viewers, please do comment and share your experiences with this kind of differences between education online and in person, be it as a student or as educated. We love having this show, podcast, being as a very interactive one. So, hi to Dragana and Vinisha in the meantime.
Yeah, thank you for joining Dragana. Dragana is a student of mine, and she doesn't really like teams that much. So this is she's hearting teams in the comments, which I
Oh
appreciate.
yeah, we can also discuss which video platform is better for learning.
What do you think about that? I'm very curious. You know, do you have a favorite platform as a former IT person as well? You have a lot of experience.
Um, I let's say this. I use mostly Google Meet,
Mhm.
but basically because I'm in their environment completely. So I use Google Mail, I have Google Drive and everything, and it's a part of their service. So it doesn't really it doesn't make sense to me to use some other service and pay additionally for it. Regarding the quality of the video and sound, I prefer Zoom because it does have a better quality of video, but what is most even more important for me is they have a better quality of audio, having different participants in recording separate channels, so you can filter out what everyone is saying later if needed. So this is what uh, is actually specialty of Zoom, and I don't know how many educators know about it. You have to tick this setting somewhere in the settings that you want separate audio channels. So if you want to repurpose your education for later, either as audio or as video, you can actually have only your voice available without someone's dog barking in the background and similar things. So just an IT tip for
Yeah,
this.
that's a really nice tip. And I think it speaks to the kind of variety we can have in the online world and the accessibility of it. which is an important point. How do you feel about presenting in person? I know that you have some conferences from time to time, and you also teach in physical rooms, but you spend most of your time online. So, what are the main differences for you?
Uh, well, as much as I do most of my part of educations online, I really like the face-to-face or offline educations more, because then you can interact with people more, and you see when they are yawning directly there, and you'll be too bored. They just don't turn off their cameras, and you have to guess. Okay, I think I'm gonna doing well, and you're actually everybody is sleeping in the meantime. So this is the great part, and I really most of my educations are workshops, so it's really hands-on things, and when you're directly there, you can help the person with something. You can show them directly what they have problems with. So this is a much effective way to learn others during this for what I'm doing. How does it look with you? Because okay, I'm not sure how much there is physical things that you need to do, but there is things with voice and learning English. How do you see it regarding face to face and a video regarding this? Is it better to learn with others in person, language, or online?
I don't think there's a better or worse choice. Um, I don't teach kids. I think it can be very challenging to teach children online because, as you mentioned, when it comes to these physical things, we use more props, more activities that require, some physical interaction with children than we do with adults. I don't
Mhm.
know if that's right. If we should include more, tactile activities with adults from time to time as well, just to make them, more aware of their surroundings or have them relax a bit more. But generally speaking, yeah, adults communicate equally well online and offline. So that's not an issue. What can be an issue is the amount of distractions in the online world. I think that's a big difference because in a physical space, we all grab each other's attention and hold each other's attention more effectively. Of course, when I taught university students, there was always a phone somewhere that can attract their attention as well. But now, you could be one of their 17 tabs, and their boss might be, sending messages through Teams while we're learning together. So these are the sort of things that you need to talk about at the start of your lessons and take them into consideration. And perhaps try even harder than in a physical classroom to keep your students' attention. You need more variety, I'd say, of activities, and you need them to interact with the screen more, which luckily we do have a lot of tools for that. There's really a lot of options, which is, again, that positive side of online teaching, that you can make everything clickable and you can have them play around with elements, maybe not in a physical way, but you're still using your hands to do something.
Mhm. Yeah, that's an interesting point to see. Yeah, of course, they can also be distracted, really, in offline situation, but it's much less visible there. And I'd say when you have a screen, exactly, I don't know how many tabs I have open at the moment. I probably shouldn't say that. Okay, so there is probably something blinking somewhere. I'm trying to not see it anyway. Okay, we have additional comment from Anna that she came across a post saying that as a freelance teacher, you must have a paid Zoom account, otherwise you come across as cheap as unprofessional. How do you view it?
Yeah, I haven't heard that sort of things myself, to be honest. So it's an interesting point. I think that we have a lot of free tools available to us that if we are tech savvy enough, we can make good use of. And you mentioned Google. I think Google Meet is one really nice option. And when we all first started at the beginning of the pandemic, I think we were all using free tools. And a lot of these tools had the paid options free for a short while so that we can try it out and to support online education. So I don't see it that way. I don't think that's fair. There are some paid features that unfortunately are paywalled in a way, so you don't have a choice. But if you are creative enough, I don't see why we should have paid accounts. What do you think about it?
Well, I might sound a bit hypocritical as we are working at a free account with Restream, which is having that logo there. But at the moment, this is what I wouldn't say hobby project, but it doesn't generate any money directly. So if will be any sponsors, of course we'll have a
Yes,
paid account at
please.
Restream. And but regarding the question, as a student, I would say if I'm paying someone for tutoring and it's online, it would be really weird for me for the educator to skimp on something like paying this account, which should be actually just a really small fraction of what I'm paying them for a monthly fee of Zoom accounts. So yes, it would kind of look cheap to me. I'd say it this way. I wouldn't say um, I would change the educator because of it, but it would be okay. You're just being cheap with that. Why so? Oh yeah, like this.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Perhaps this is a sort of business outlook. As a business owner yourself, you understand the value of investment and how it can enhance the experience sometimes. So that's a valid perspective as well. We have
Yes, yes.
a
And I
long
think there is a limit of 40 minutes. So what the usual teaching hours 45 minutes. Okay, we'll be 5 minutes short because I want to let you free. You are doing so good, so we just make it for 40 minutes.
right. It depends on your needs, then, of course, right? Some people have even 30-minute lessons. So that's a whole other discussion, something to consider. We have quite a long comment. I can't share all of it like this, so I'll do
Yeah,
it
but you can read
differently.
the whole. Yeah. Oh. Oh, it
All
just
right.
fits in. Great. Hi, Neda.
Hi, Neda. Thank you for engaging in such a detailed way. Neda is saying, just today I'm giving a live education on the topic of social media strategy. I also have in my offer the same education online, but the preparation is very different. I print worksheets live for my participants. We use Post-its, pens, we walk around the area, they take home small bags with materials. During breaks, we connect and exchange ideas. In the online environment, I use Zoom and all the benefits it offers. Zoom rooms, surveys, collaboration boards, but it's necessary for the participants to be skilled in using the online environment in general. Otherwise, we waste a lot of time on instructions and not everyone has the same benefit. I used to work with children online. It's very difficult to keep attention. Yes, I agree with that last bit. I applaud you. I'm not a dynamic person enough to keep children's attention online. To be honest, I admire people who can. I think what you said about being skilled I wouldn't say we waste time um, training everyone. I think that we all need to plan that time a bit better, at least from my experience. It's not a waste of time, it's something that's really necessary in this environment, and something that has to be quite personalized. So it's good practice for any kind of educating. But what you're saying about the physical benefits of mingling and moving, I think we sometimes forget how beneficial that can be. What's your take on that, as somebody who uses
Uh,
a standing desk?
just to be here somewhere. So I'm moving around much. But what I see from Neda is one thing that already stands out is there is more engagement in live session because you interact directly with the person and they don't have 50, 70 tabs open which use their additional resources regarding their minds. So there's much more engagement during this in the live situation. So I'd say this is exactly why it's better to have some educations offline. Well, there are additional problems that sometimes people are not at the location. They would need to travel a lot to come to you, so there are some limitations to be offline. So there needs to be a kind of a let's say if someone can have education offline, I would say it's better. But if they are really interested in topic and they are not distracted by other things, it's not that much of a problem for being online. But for kids, it's a bit different. So yeah, you really need to be. Woohoo.
Yeah, I think when it comes to engagement, I wouldn't say that engagement is better in person necessarily. I think engagement
Okay.
is different. I think we need to
Hmm.
approach it differently. And, engagement can be really bad offline as well if you are not good at grabbing people's attention and, being relevant to their contexts. When we are in person with our students, we command the space physically. So, there's that sort of, I'd say there's a bit of culture behind it as well. And having that idea of authority of the teacher and, respectfulness and eye contact and so forth, this all comes into play and makes things easier at the start. It's a bit smoother, maybe more
Hmm.
organic. It's, we are wired to prefer face-to-face interactions. Still, it might change with time. But you can keep people engaged online, and you have to if you want to make the best of their education. It just, as I said, it needs to be varied, it needs to be interactive. You need to make them do things so that they are not lost in that 17th tab. And that comes down to your quality as an educator and being able to recognize their needs and respond to them.
Hmm.
So,
Okay. Uh, Now, what comes to my mind is would you need to prepare them for the online education? Because, like you say, you command the space and how they will prepare, as in clothes and everything. And if you have an online education, you can basically watch it from the bed. And I've seen it happen. Do you need to create some kind of preparation for them regarding the time of day when this will happen, so it doesn't have happen early in the morning or later in the evening, because this could happen, and prepare them in a way, I don't know, that perhaps it's camera needs to be on all the time, so they need to engage and also dress properly because they will be ashamed if they are not dressed for the camera.
Yeah, I think that, a proper needs analysis and having detailed questionnaires and interviews before starting lessons with your students is very important. And I think it prepares them just through answering these questions. They get a clearer picture of what they want. They get more motivated, and then, they participate immediately. I think when it comes to some of these things like keeping your camera on, it's something that needs to be said. In general, I think lately I've had to say it less because people are developing a sort of online culture and awareness of what's appropriate online as well. Because a lot of them have been working online for quite a long time, so they know the basics. So I'd say that I have to spend less and less time talking about these basic points, which is nice for me as an educator. I think, we can spend more time discussing more complex ideas. One thing that Neda mentioned that I haven't responded to is, as a teacher, especially a language teacher, we used to, in the offline world, we still do when we teach in person, not me anymore, but have a lot of materials that we need to print, that we need to prepare. And this is very time consuming. Like, online worksheets and online materials are much easier to handle. I think they're more eco-friendly as well, because the amount of printing that an average teacher does is obscene. So there's that. And when it comes to printing, every school and organization that I've worked for has always had like limits, and they're always, it's a running joke in every business environment, I'd say, but in education especially, that the printer breaks down about 70 times per day. So there were technical issues before as well that I've forgotten now, but they were equally annoying.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this with all of the equipment you've acquired?
Well, basically, I'd say it's much easier for me to show this equipment offline because I usually start showing things like, okay, this is some kind of camera. Here you see it, but it's different if people just can have it in their hands, look at it, and everything. And regarding the printing materials, I've seen some different approaches to the offline papers, let's say in this way, in a way that educators puts on the QR code link, and students can just watch it on their screens for later, save it. So there is an option not to print everything. Perhaps it's possible for someone, perhaps it's not for others, but yeah, uh, there are approaches for more eco-friendliness, let's say this way, to do it also that way.
For sure.
Okay.
Regarding that, this is a relevant comment. Print on both sides and in color only in special occasions.
Yeah. Okay, we have additional comment from Dragana that she also works with kids online, and she doesn't have trouble with their attention. Teacher has to keep them active all the time, mentally and physically, to do some stretching, dancing. Okay, all you people, please do a happy dance now. Stand up and yeah, you too, Adita. Let's just dance a bit. It's not so Dragona say it's not that difficult. So creativity, movement, interesting lessons. Okay, so we need to add some movement to the education online to have them engaged, and additionally, online is natural to kids. So we just need to use it and even let them lead more time to time. Okay, so Dragon, thank you for this comment. So I'd say they do engage more online. Kids because it's their, let's say, natural habitat.
Mm.
As it is at the moment. And do you see them? The question to Dragana, if she is still here, do you see them actually more active online than the offline? Because I had the pleasure to have at least one education to kids offline, and they were mostly on their phones and didn't seem really interested. So perhaps better online for kids.
Okay, that's a great
I don't
point. I
know.
think Dragana,
Thank you, Dragana, for the answer, if you have it.
yeah, she confirms that it's up to us to use all our environments best to our abilities. And once again, Dragana, yeah, I really admire educators who can use the online space effectively with children.
Yes. Okay, she
Um,
will extend it for a few more times because we are actually at 30-minute mark, which is the meaning, which means we have to end it. Or
Up to you.
no, all the viewers just saying no. We need just at least 5 more minutes of this.
You can be the bad guy.
I'll let Dragana answer it if she's still here. So we'll wait for a couple of minutes more. Um, how do you see it from the, let's say, technical side as an educator? Do you have problems in having presenting yourself with more authority? Uh, do you see it as being difficult in video format?
um, Not really. I haven't noticed a big difference there. I think it's all about communication. I would be curious to learn from you how lighting and camera angles affect this, because I think there is some psychology involved there that I'm not fully aware of. But
Mhm.
as somebody who is very short and I don't command space very effectively in the offline world, for me, being this close to the camera, it actually helps me in that sense to
Uh,
fill the space in a way.
I wouldn't say that is that much of a problem because teacher use this also offline. Um, when you're in front of a class, you're standing, so you're, no matter how short you are taller than them, and in command because you're standing and they're sitting down. So I think this it's used the same way also online. It could be used. Dragana, thank you for the comment, the answer. So Dragana says she does one-on-one online lessons, so it's easier than group kids activities. So this way they are active. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah. It makes sense. One-on-one, it's always easier to be more interactive. So yeah, I'd say it this way also. Where were I? Yeah, you're standing, so you can use this the same way also online. It's different to have different camera angle, so I can actually show it also now. Hopefully, nothing goes. So at the moment, I'm a bit at a higher angle, so I present more authority this way, and it sometimes is too low of an angle, and this is not good when the nostrils are seen from the inside. But at least a bit of putting the camera below your eye level means more authority through the video. And if you do it too high, oh, then basically you're a bit midget and nobody takes you really serious. So this is not really good if you have camera on top of your monitor, on your off top of your display. So and there is a problem. And regarding the okay, let's fix now. Oh, this being perfectionist is not very good. And regarding the the light itself, well, people need to see you, need to see your face, what you're talking to them, that you are actually talking directly to them, talking in camera, and not just reading from somewhere, because engagement is not there anymore. Like also in the classroom, directly offline, you need to have this connection between your eyes. So this is also important. And light, if you have no light, well, okay, you start to see being spooky, and it's not that much visible from the point of how your face can be seen.
It's good
So
for a
yeah,
Halloween lesson, though.
yeah. Yeah, you can be scary to them also. Okay, so you really need to pay attention now because we are coming to an end. Thank you all and goodbye for today. Have a great day and don't be scared. Bye.
Bye bye.